The Tea Party Congress takes office this week, and one of its top priorities is dealing with federal spending.
The American people have spoken clearly. They want Washington to cut spending, not raise taxes. Eric Stakelbeck has the story from Washington.
The new Republican Congress swept into power in November, promising to get runaway spending and deficits under control. Now they're about to tackle their first major challenge in accomplishing that goal. The government's debt now stands at an all-time high of over $14 trillion. And Congress will soon face its first major debate on spending, whether or not to raise the debt ceiling and let Washington borrow more money to keep operating, or try to cut spending. Raising the debt ceiling is a move that's fiercely opposed by Tea Party activists and small government conservatives, including one likely Republican presidential candidate.
As to the federal government, they should not raise the debt ceiling. I believe they should pass legislation, allow them to sequence the spending as the revenues come in to make sure they don't default, and then have the debate about what other spending can be reduced.
A new CBS News poll shows that Americans overwhelmingly prefer cutting spending to raising taxes as a way to reduce the annual federal deficit. 77% want spending cuts, only 9% want taxes raised, and another 9% want to do both. The debate over the issue on Capitol Hill promises to be fierce. In the end, most observers think Congress will raise the debt ceiling, but only after serious promises are made to cut spending in the months and years ahead. And the public, especially the Tea Party, will be watching to see how serious the new Congress really is about breaking Washington's addiction to spending taxpayer money. Eric Stakelbeck, CBN News, Washington.
Now, to show you how political this is, let's go back to 2006. There was a freshman senator, and the debate was about, do we raise the federal debt limit? And this is what this freshman senator had to say. The fact that we are here today to debate raising America's debt limit is a sign of leadership failure. It is a sign that the U.S. government can't pay its own bills. Well, who was that senator? It's our current president, Barack Obama. And at that floor vote, it was 52-48, right along party lines, where 52 Republicans voted to raise the debt limit and 48 Democrats voted to keep it where it was. Now the tables are turned, and we're seeing the exact same vote on the other side. It doesn't change. And what we've got to deal with as a country is how do we get our spending under control? Not our debt limit, but how do we stop the increases in federal spending? Lee Webb has the rest of our top stories from the CBN Newsroom. Lee?
Gordon, the niece of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., says her uncle would be considered a social conservative today. Dr. Alveda King says the advice columns he wrote for Ebony magazine in 1957 and 58 show that he was pro-life and in favor of abstinence before marriage. And she says Uncle Martin sounded no different than a conservative Christian preacher does now. Today marks the 25th anniversary of Martin Luther King Day. New research indicates that smoking damages DNA within minutes of inhaling. The Masonic Cancer Center reports that only one puff does immediate genetic damage and raises the risk for cancer. Researchers studied a dangerous component in cigarettes and tracked its path through a smoker's body. They found that it turned into a toxin when it entered the body. Within 15 to 30 minutes, it began damaging the smoker's DNA. Well, if you felt swamped with emails last year, you were not alone. Internet users sent a total of 107 trillion emails worldwide last year. About 89% of those were spam or junk emails for advertisements and so on. An Internet Research Service added up the numbers and found that an average of 294 billion emails were sent every day. The service reports there are nearly 2 billion Internet users in the world out of nearly 7 billion people, Gordon.
Well, it used to be you got mail was a good thing and meant one of your friends was sending you a message. But I tell you, Terry, these days it seems like I'm hitting delete more than I am hitting open.
Unbelievable numbers. Wow, that's staggering, isn't it? Well, don't know where you all fall in that line with that.
Try hitting unsubscribe a couple times, but even that seems to generate more.
Exactly. It's the age of technology, yes?